Welcome to the Frugal fifth generation combat aircraft. This is the first part, and it discusses certain ideas about how the fifth generation combat aircraft should be like. The context and the background and the references are to India. So I mention this only so that you will be able to understand why, in what context the remarks are being made. This is what I am going to talk about. A quick review of the generations, what has happened before. I find that necessary because quite a lot of people seem to be getting confused about the generation. Then a certain amount of cynicism about the specifications. And then I cite two examples, Operation Feather Duster and the Bekaa Valley, in context with the specifications. Because finally, it is the specifications which end up as a hardware. And the more refined we are in getting the correct specifications, the better is our chances of developing something that is affordable. Then I will go on to the fifth generation, where I think there's a lot of trimming of fat to be done, and the sixth generation, which my personal belief is that we'll never get to see. I'll have reasons for that. Then I will show an example of frugal thinking. It is, of course, with the first generation of aircraft, but that doesn't matter because even modern aircraft can be frugally designed. Now, the basic concept of mobile air warfare I put on the top. The platform plus the weapon plus the intelligence equals results. This was as true with the knight on his horse, armored knight on his horse, as much as it is in the present this thing. Now, by intelligence, I mean tactical awareness, skill, the way he's using the ground, etc., etc. Now, the first generation, the tactical aim was platform performance, and the enabling technology was jet propulsion. The Gloucester Meteor, Messerschmitt 262, Yakovlev 15, and Bel Air Comet. Now, on the second generation, to platform performance was added a more accurate weapons delivery. So, swept wings were added, powered controls, ranging gun sight, and so on and so forth. And these four aircraft from America, Russia, Britain, and France are typical examples of the second generation. The third generation is, to my mind, a bit of a joker generation because its real purpose of this generation was a substitute for the surface-to-air missiles, whose development was quite uncertain when these aircraft first appeared in 1956 or thereabout. Now they had a search radar, they had missiles, they had become Mach 2 speed was required because you had to intercept those bombers. So you went in for a huge complications. And any engineer will be able to tell you just how damaging Mach 2 requirement is on airframe design. And these are again the examples. Now, the fourth generation was the new technology paradigm. Now you had platform plus intelligent weapons plus information technology, which is replacing the old paradigm, platform plus weapons plus intelligence. Now, how does it make a difference on the airframe or the aircraft design? Well, a quick example would be the F-117. the F-117 had to used LGB, laser guided bombs, but while it was smart, it was not intelligent, and so it would have to fly over its target to create a hit. Whereas, and therefore, the stealth of the F-117 had to be 100%. They said something very impressive, one steel ball bearing or whatever it is, they say. Now, because it had to fly over the target. Now, in the next generation, where we had artificial intelligent weapons using artificial intelligence and information technology, you can reduce the stringency of the stealthiness. Why? Because it's all standoff. And in fact, the later ones, the fifth generation is generally less stealthy than the F-117. Anyway, but let's come back to the fourth generation. Fourth generation had to undo the damage it had done for that bomber intercept role. So, and they found in Vietnam that they were getting really trounced by aeroplanes. It was frontier arithmetic. 10,000 pounds of education drops to a 10 shilling jejile, as Kipling had said. Now, therefore, the tactical aims were to undo the third generation implications, improve dogfight performance, and the enabling technologies were these, and these were the fighters. But I want to make a special point about fly-by-wire. Now, fly-by-wire comes in because it is something like, you see, the cavity magnetron of the British radars of Second World War has ended up in the kitchen as a microwave oven. It's commercialization of a technology, because it really is not such a hot shot as it is said. It increases safety, it does a lot of things. But what I want to point out here is that the MiG-29 was the fighter to beat, and it did not have FBW in the beginning. So what I'm trying to say is, this or that technology must be there for a particular generation is completely untrue. Right. Now, the fifth generation works to reduce vulnerability. So we have stealth, you have BVR, you have sensor fusion, you have super cruise, and so on and so forth. Super cruise, of course, to improve deployability. But it again puts enormous pressure on engine technology. Now, what do you do if you don't have that engine technology? My thing is, go for flight refueling and don't go for super cruise. Particularly in India, where we are a much smaller country compared to, say, the USAF, which must go across the globe to fight. All right? So, and these are the examples. Sixth generation, well, as far as I am concerned, we will not see it. I mean, people will drag in, but it will be a sorry mess when it comes. Because there are more ways to kill a cat than drown it in cream. And the technology now required for the sixth generation is horrendously expensive. So, let us see. I don't think we'll see it. Now, let me further explain why there will be no sixth generation. Well, exactly for the same reason that there was no Dakota replacement. There is a sort of technological boundary layer. That means, there's, as it is, all the avionics that are now available on the fighter menu would fill a lorry. All just the black boxes. the radars and all those controllers and their equipment and so already we are looking at airframes the size of the Sukhoi 30 MKI. And there used to be an old British joke in the 60s, which is now coming true, that the Vulcan is the logical replacement for the Lightning. What they meant was that the smarter the weapons be, all the role of the fighter is no longer as a platform, but as a transporter. The other thing is that I just pitch down what were the years of introduction of the various, 1944 for the first generation, 50 for the second, 61 for the third, and so on. And these are the gaps, 6 years between the first two, 11 years between 2 and 3, and between the fourth and the fifth has been 35 years. So there's a fair chance that maybe it will be 50, 55 years, say 2040 or something like that, before anybody, I hope they don't do it, but they go for the sixth generation. The other alternate scenario is that if Boeing gets the T-7 right, there's going to be a big push for the light fighters. That's just me being wicked.